Welcome back, caregivers. Let's take a break. This is part two of our series about successful tips, or rather, tips to help you be a successful caregiver. Last time, we were directing our comments to those aides who come into the home to provide the care. Today, these tips are for those family caregivers who are providing care for their care recipient and receiving that outside help. As usual, did you remember to de-stress? If not, let's begin our de-stressing exercises. As usual, we begin with taking deep breaths. Ready? Deep breath in and let it out. Deep breath in and let it out. Deep breath in and let it out. Okay, let's take our right arm and reach it over to our left and get some stretching in. Stretch. Okay, let's take our left arm and reach it over to our right side. Lean over as far as we can go. And stretch. Let's stretch one more time. Reaching that right arm over to our left side. And stretch. And reaching our left arm over our right side. And stretch. And of course, my favorite stretching one is grabbing those apples off of the tree. Are we ready? Let's get to the very top of that tree and grab that red juicy apple. Got mine. Let's reach over here. There's a nice green apple if you like green apples. There we go. I got mine. All right. Now let's do a little bit of the neck. And let's reach it over to the left and hold it for a few seconds. Bring it back up. Over to the left. Hold it a few seconds. Bring it back up. To the back. Hold it a few seconds. Bring it back up. One more time to the right. And up. To the left. And up. To the back. And up. And let's get a little shoulder work in, okay? Shoulder up. And down. Up. And down. Roll it to the back. Roll it to the back again. Let's roll it to the front. And roll it to the front again. Okay, let's just do a little shake today and get it all out, okay? Wonderful. All right, let's start our session. And I'll say this is for those families that are receiving outside help from the in-home aides. Number one, review the plan of care with the aide to make sure that you're on the same page as far as what the aide is supposed to do. Because sometimes the aide says, I didn't see the plan of care. Do you have one? And hopefully you have one available so that you can show and review to them to let them know exactly what it is they need to do. So be sure you review with the aide the plan of care and those things that are expected of that aide. If there's anything on that plan of care that you want to have done, be sure that you have checked with the agency. Don't do anything or have the aide do anything that's not on that plan of care, okay? So review that plan of care. Then be sure you familiarize the aide with where the supplies are. As I've talked before, my husband required assistance with bathing. And so I would let the aides know where the washcloths were, where the soap and deodorant were, where, the toothpaste was, if the person has dentures, and the aide needed to do that. I did his. So they didn't have to do that part. But sometimes in some situations, the aide might have to do that. So you need to let them know where you keep your supplies, where they are, so that the aide can have them available and know where they are as they perform their duties. Okay? And be sure you have the phone number to your aide and to the agency so that if anything comes up, maybe you don't need the aide that particular day. If that's the case, be sure you let them know in advance as much as possible. Emergencies do come up from time to time, and so you do need to have a number, where you can reach that aid or where you can reach, the agency. And a lot of times, especially if you're getting assistance in the mornings, sometimes the aid may be coming when the office is not open. And so if you're regularly notifying the agency and they're not open and you can't reach the on-call person, you need to have the number of that aide so you can let the aide know what's happening that particular day. Be sure and prepare yourself for emergencies in case the aide can't come. You want to be sure that you are equipped and in the mindset to do those responsibilities that the aide did not do. And I know sometimes it can be frustrating because I know when the aide, couldn't come, then I had to pull myself together and get my mindset that I am doing that personal care for that particular day. And getting in my mind how my husband liked to do things. And he always said I was kind of a heavy-handed person. And so I know that he preferred bathing when the aides get there as opposed to when I had to do it. So be sure to get your mindset straight in case you have to do those responsibilities yourself when that aide is not coming into the home in case of an emergency. And be sure you have adequate supplies. I've talked before, keep your supplies adequate because nobody, not even you, want to perform a task and you don't have the appropriate supplies. So be sure you have those supplies handy. And explain the likes and dislikes of your care recipient to that aide. And that was always the first thing that I did. I know that you're new and maybe you haven't, and I know you haven't worked with him before, but this is how he likes things to be done. He likes his water hot, so make sure that the water is hot. If it's cool or lukewarm, he's going to send it back. So make sure that you get it hot for him. And let him test it. He'll test it and he'll tell you whether or not that's the right temperature. And of course, he liked to select his own washcloths. And what you need to do is give him 4 or 5 and let him choose which one he wants. They may all look alike, may all be the same color. But that's just the way he is. And so you need to know what the likes and dislikes are. And they also had to assist with his breakfast. And so the food had to be cut up into small pieces. So you would have to cut the food up into small pieces. And maybe a person likes, the meat cut one way, the bread cut the other. Some people are really particular. And so to avoid frustration, be sure and let the aide know what the likes and what the dislikes are. And that will work better for them and for the care recipient. Let the aide and the office know if you plan to take time away. I know there were occasions when I would go out of town and I would take my husband with me. And of course, that takes away, from the aide and her pay, I guess you'd say. So let them know in advance when you're going to be away so that maybe they can schedule that aide with somebody else during that time. Also, be respectful of the aide. That aide I consider to be a professional because they have undergone training to do a particular job. And so don't expect that they are beneath you or beneath what the job calls for. Be respectful of that person, of who they are, and their time. And don't ask for them to do things that are not on the plan of care. I have heard of situations where, family members have asked, can you go grocery shopping, when it's not on there? Can you take me somewhere when there's not on that plan of care? The plan of care is designed to be specific to that person. If there are needs that come up that you want the aide to do, discuss with that agency so they can put it on that plan of care and you can be covered. And the aide knows what their responsibilities are and they don't feel put upon because you're asking them to do extra work. So please be respectful of the aide and their time. Also, compliment the aide when they do a job well done. We all like to get praise for the things that we do, and we like to know that we are doing our job well. So please compliment the aide and let them know when they have done a job well done. And I also, like to, remind people when you're, talking, with the aide and they're providing care for your loved one, to be cautious about that person's need for control. We all want to be in control of our situation. And people who have disabilities, because they're not able to do a lot of things for themselves, they still want to be in control of what they can do. And sometimes we have a tendency, and sometimes aides, have a tendency to want to tell somebody what to do and how to do it. But we have to take a step back and remember that that person likes to have control as well. So allow them to have that control. It's okay. You don't want to be fighting with somebody because you think they ought to be doing something in a particular way or they need to be doing something. Let them decide what it is they want to do and how they want to do it. And you can avoid a lot of frustrations when you let that happen. Okay? Great. Those are the tips that I have for being a successful caregiver when you have an aide coming into the home. Again, I want to leave you with something inspirational, and this is coming from our Daily Bread book. And it says, when we're in a low place and filled with despair, God is there and will sustain us too. So remember, when we're in our caregiving role and things get to be frustrating, a little bit too much at the moment, remember God is there and He will sustain us. And this is a prayer for you. Heavenly Father, there are times when my burdens become too much to carry. Thank you for continuously reaching out to me, sustaining me, and granting me your peace, strength, and wisdom. And those are things that we need as caregivers: peace, strength, and wisdom. Don't forget, my book is still available. Hope in a Time of Despair: A Caregiver's Journey of Faith. Be sure and get your copy. And if you know someone who's a caregiver, that will make a nice gift for them. Okay? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Enjoy being with you today. Giving you a big hug. Okay? Job well done. Caregivers, let's take a break. See you next time. Bye bye. Thank you for joining in.